Ibaka and Durant to jump it up. We're underway from Barclays Center. The Clippers control the tip.
And what the Clippers have done is they've been able to keep the Nets out of the paint. And
the Nets can't keep Leonard out of the paint.
Posting up more this season, Bird. He's getting to his spots, the diversity of finding him, and he's been effective. A little elbow there to Ibaka. Got up a little slow.
Leonard, one-on-one. Durant rises up, cans it.
Impressive.
So Nets trail 20-11. Durant right down the middle. Kevin Durant gets to the bucket and the foul. And that rebound snatched by Harden. Harden, bump, flip, off the window for James Harden. 26-18 Clippers. Leonard back in on Brown. Leonard, kick. Jackson, a three.
Reggie Jackson knocking down the top of the key three-pointer. He's shooting almost 40% from the three-point line this year. So efficient from downtown.
Kyrie Irving, the answer. His toe was on the line. It's a long two-pointer.
Okay, I thought you did your homework. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I missed that one. He's a dookie. Nice looking stroke from Kyrie Irving. 8 to shoot. Williams crosses. Williams forced to give it up. Jackson, the open J. It's a triple. 32-22, 5 seconds left. Irving to Jordan for the jam. Currently, it is 5. Pull up, Morris. Splash. Harris, Brown, Jordan, and Shamet. Harris, back-to-back? No.
The fuck?
Slapped out of there by Jordan. Good save. Harris is not shy. Bottom for 3.
Continue doing the little.
Back-to-back? No. Slapped out of there by Jordan. Good save. Harris is no. Harris, Brown, Jordan, and Shamet. Harris, back-to-back? No. Shy.
In this game, but Landry Shamet with a nice little backdoor cut and layup. That's been their challenge this season, playing defense. But right now here early in the second, they've been pretty solid. Oh, I spoke too soon.
Paul George, the silky smooth to lift Zubats, backs off. And now he hedges. Loop it. Jam for Jordan. Batum is back in for LA, along with Kawhi Leonard. Jeff Green returns for Brooklyn. Leonard rises up. Book it. Kawhi Leonard from the outside. Here's Williams with 6 to shoot. Mismatch off the dribble. He got Durant to commit. Leaves it inside for Batum. 43-41. LA isolation for George. Cross. What a find. Batum roaming baseline it.
Yes, it was.
45-41. Durant pull up. Can't stop it.
Makes and takes tough ones.
Grant, he is 4 of 4 from the field, 9 points. George creating space, and he banks it in. Reggie Jackson the rebound. Ibaka back in. Jackson gets his way to the rim, and a chance at a three-point play for Reggie Jackson.
Morris Sr. in the corner. Great camera angle there.
Out of the timeout, Kevin Durant drains it from the outside. Jackson is there. Reggie Jackson missed it on the reverse. Harden on a lead feed. Irving gets to the rim. Oh, beautiful English from Kyrie Irving. Didn't too strong. Offensive rebound for Ibaka. They are out-rebounding the Nets 23-15. And Ibaka, the second chance opportunity for the Clippers. Can't hit on the inside. Harden got a little body from Jackson, and Harden Euro to the rim. Scoop, there it is. James Harden
is posting up Kawhi Leonard more. He's posting up on 16% of his offensive plays this year, taking advantage of the mismatch.
Oh, Kyrie Irving, bullseye for 3.
Third quarter, both teams competing on the defensive end. Nothing easy.
Paul George, bottom for 3.
There's not much you can do against that.
Spin, step back. Oh, that's nice. Kyrie Irving.
To start this third quarter.
Leonard He was 5 of 5, Grant. He has made just one of his last 6 attempts. George gets the bounce. Paul George from the perimeter.
Well, and they'll need Zubats in the playoffs, particularly against guys like Jokic and centers if they're trying to win a championship. But you're right, Ibaka and Irving.
Kyrie Irving now with 26 points in 22 minutes. Jumper goes for Paul George.
Impressed with your knowledge. I mean, that's impressive there. I mean,
Phone.
he was embraced by the mainstream art scene and certainly one of the pioneers in that regard. And so, and you just have to love the energy right now from the Brooklyn Nets, just competing on every possession.
Batum.
Great little set there. Great execution.
Batum again. Long distance bomb from Nick Batum. Jordan rotates over. Zubac's trying to grab, and he saves it to Luwawu-Cabarrot. Oh, a skimmer! Durant takes it in for the flush. Leonard way outside, defended by Durant. Leonard. Oh, yeah. Kawhi Leonard. St. Morris, Zubats, and Williams for L.A. Leonard off the double team. Ball movement leads to Williams. Shot clock winding down. They're taking a lot of time. Leonard connects for 3.
And everybody on the Clippers touched the ball right there, getting it back to Leonard. Great unselfishness.
Harris, swing. Here's Harden. Teardrop, gets the roll. James Harden, Durant, and Irving, and they're nowhere near the top of the list as Morris hits the jump shot coming out of the timeout. We are tied at 97. And the claw comes away with the steal and the slam. Kawhi Leonard. James Harden is off the mark. We've had 10 lead changes all in the second half. Clippers up by 2. George gets around Shamet, +1.
But forced Leonard into a tough shot.
Kyrie Irving from downtown. Irving, pep in his step. Oh, the corkscrew off the Euro. Kyrie Irving is locked in. Rebounded by Harris. Nets 7-0 run. Oh, Irving. He can't miss. Kyrie Irving has 37 points, but 2 misses on a 3 ball. We approach 4 minutes to go in the 4th. James Harden got a 3.
In the corner on that play. You give the ball to Harden this time, and he able to finish and convert. But
here's Leonard. Makes his move on the inside. Pump fake. Oh, the strength of Leonard. A chance at a 3-point play. Kawhi
really
has 29. Now Durant wants to get in on the act. Durant's jumper is good. Rebounds it and clears. Under 2 minutes to play. Durant wants to dance with Batum. A 3. Kevin Durant. A downtown hit. Jackson waits. We are under a minute left. Morris wants to take it over Irving for 2. Irving backs off. Jackson gets it in. George a 3. It's good. Paul George on target. They get it in cleanly. Harden gives it up. Durant drives in, and he is fouled with 9 seconds left. Leonard's second attempt. It's a 1-point game. Nets find themselves in another potentially hairy situation. Harden goes long. Green ball fake. Layup is good and a foul with 5.5. Harden throws the touchdown pass to Jeff Green.
And he has a chance to ice the game here at the free throw line, Jeff Green.
He missed it. Missed one the other night as well. It's open here for L.A. Shot at the horn. No good. 2
Paul
points.
George is trash.
Batum gets the bounce on the second attempt. He does. 124 to 120. The battle in Brooklyn belongs to the Nets.
this NBA season. Just an extraordinary accomplishment.
The Galaxy S21 Ultra is the latest and greatest thing in the Android world, at least for the next couple months. A little side note, if you ordered a Jerry Rig Everything razor knife, our second batch will be shipping out later this week, so be on the lookout for that. The S21 Ultra box looks like it's lost a bit of weight since last year. Either it's spent quarantine working out and eating right, or Samsung's just copying Apple and leaving out the charger. Once the phone is out, we get our first look at the maddest, blackest phone I think I've ever seen. It's like filming a black hole. The S21 Ultra is as dark as 2020. My fingers are also a little bit dark. I've been working with metal, and that stuff does not wash off real easy. But since this isn't Jerry Manicure Everything, let's get started. Inside the slender box, we get a short USB-C to USB-C charging cable.
Probably
That's
it's
about
me.
it. For the most part, the phone doesn't look much different than last year. We still have the hole-punch camera in the front. Changing the look of that camera bump is about as much innovation as we're getting these days. Everything else is just marginal, incremental improvements. Which is good, of course, don't get me wrong.
Plastic.
I'll peel off the screen protector. Now we can make our way down to the screen and start our scratch test. Anything that scratches at a level 2 or 3 would be made from plastic. And as we can clearly see, using a lot of plastic. The sides of the phone are made from aluminum, along with the power button and volume rocker, both made from metal. The top of the phone is kind of unique. The camera hump is blended into the sides of the aluminum frame. Samsung's calling this a contour cut, which I actually kind of
Like the Apple.
It's a little more seamless. Then down here at the bottom, near the 25-watt fast-charging USB-C port, we get the SIM card tray. It is IP68, but new this year, Samsung has removed the expandable memory card slot, which is kind of sad. I'm not a huge fan of removing features. I'd rather have a tool and not need it, than need a tool and not have it. One thing I do like, though, is the frosted glass on the back. We've seen this for a while on OnePlus and iPhones, and I like it every single time. It's a little more abrasive than smooth glass. You can see that bits of my razor, keys, and coins are rubbing off onto the back glass surface. Kind of like sandpaper, but for the most part, the marks can all be rubbed away. The dust from the softer metals is just getting caught on the microscopically rough surface of the etched glass. The camera lens, however, is
Why
not
would
made
they
from
put
glass.
plastic there? I mean glass there.
There are 4 cameras on this guy.
Make much
the top
sense.
being a 12 megapixel ultra wide with a few sensors, then the impressive 108 megapixel wide angle. Then we have 2 telephoto cameras, one of which might be a periscope lens. It's kind of difficult to tell what's going on in there from the outside. There's really only one way to check. Ah, there it is. Indeed, the bottom 100 times zoom camera is once again a periscope unit. If you want to get your own teardown skin so you can see the insides of your phone from the outside, I'll leave a link down in the video description. The nice thing is that these skins are temporary, so if you're ever headed to a funeral, and bam, you can get all bleak and depressing again whenever you want. The screen is where I think Samsung did make some solid improvements this year on the S21 Ultra. Not enough to get me to switch from my year-and-a-half-old Nexus Plus, but still pretty cool. The 6.8-inch screen can do 1440p with 120Hz variable refresh rate. Basically, things look smoother and crisper than any other phone out on the market, all while conserving battery life. And it lasts for about 45 seconds under the heat from my lighter, which are all very good and equally commendable attributes for a cell phone to have. Underneath the AMOLED display, which does not recover from the flames, is an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, supposedly a tad larger this year, but we'll have to check that out from the inside. I'll scuff it up with some level 7 deeper grooves, and even with that damage, the fingerprint scanner can still read my fingerprint and unlock the phone every single time. Not too shabby. Now for the bin test. Samsung has always been super solid with their phones, even more so now with the extra metal around the contoured camera bump. And once again, the S21 Ultra is as solid as a rock, whether bent from the front or the back. I guess the real question is whether the $1,200 S21 Ultra is worth buying, and I think that decision rests with the cameras. I took a quick trip to New York City to test out the camera, and you can see from these unedited video clips that the S21 Ultra is pretty exceptional, with super detailed and crisp video capabilities. You're probably like, wow, Jerry, that's some really good footage. Ooh la la, really impressive 10 out of 10. Exceptional low-light capabilities. But why are you traveling to New York during a pandemic? And you're right, I actually just totally lied, and all this footage you're seeing now came from a Galaxy Note 4, from a video I filmed and posted to my YouTube channel over 6 years ago. Smartphone cameras have been really good for a really long time, so upgrading your phone just for the camera doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially when the phones from 6 years ago can compete with the phones of today, and when the phones of today cost $1,200. You could go visit New York City in person for that price. After the pandemic, of course. I'm going to hold off on upgrading for a little while longer. Flashy new phones are fun, but if you really do need a new phone, last year's model is always going to be cheaper and still has the SD card slot. Let me know what you think of the S21 Ultra down in the comments. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and come hang out with me on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks so for watching. I'll see you around.
First look at Resident Evil Village gameplay. Ethan Winters. We'll need to get in, Village keep the world we've created. The team put a ton of effort into creating a truly authentic feel. From art design to technology, everything ties in great and creates a door for Ethan.
What the fuck?
Man blood.
Now, let's take a look at him.
So this is the dumb thick girl.
Well, Ethan Winters. You escaped my little brother's idiot games, did you? Let's see how special you are.
Shifting gears a bit, we're finally going to show off some combat. It's not just about shooting. Guarding will also be an important part of the game.
Damn, that's horrifying.
Each type of enemy has their own distinct way of fighting, so you'll need to change up your strategy to defeat them.
What the...
Everyone Everyone knows what to do with red barrels, right?
He missed.
Some of you will remember a similar management system in Resident Evil 4. This time around, we've added crafting, which allows you to create items such as first aid and ammo. There's also an assortment of weapons to find and utilize throughout the game.
I've been waiting for you, Mr. Winters.
How do you know my name?
Anyone who is anyone has heard of the likes of you.
The merchant makes a return. This time he's known as the Duke. You'll be going to him to buy and sell weapons, amongst other things. The director wanted to give him a unique look, and you'll often find him in different situations each time you encounter him.
Fuck.
He's an interesting fella.
Aha! Aha!
Smash away with your trusty knife. There's plenty of items to find in your travels. Wait, do you hear that? And we've also got extra objectives outside of the main ones. Of course, it goes without saying that there'll be plenty of puzzles to solve for players to move forward. Oh, and plenty of surprises to keep you on your toes.
What the? Bro, that's terrifying.
I haven't cut open a man in a while.
What?
Let me string you up, slice your jugular, and just watch.
Jesus.
Well, that's one way to end the video. Now that we've shown you what's in store for Resident Evil Village, let's take a look at the exclusive PlayStation 5 demo. For this demo, players won't be playing as Ethan, but as a character we're referring to as the Maiden. Unlike the actual game, this experience doesn't feature combat or even blocking.
Maiden?
We're hoping to have players get a real feel for the visuals and audio as they take the Maiden on her journey to find a way out of the castle.
Dumb thing.
Download the exclusive demo on PlayStation 5 today. Of course, we want as many people as possible to get a chance to play. So we'll have a
Mr. Winters.
for him. There's each type of
Dumb
Now,
thick.
let's take a look at him.
Oh man.
Well, Ethan Winters. You escaped.
In a world once dominated by a single genre, where everyone with the semblance of a franchise was trying to cram it into a battle royale-shaped box, the Dark Lord Activision would rise once again to grab its share of the goodies by doing the one thing no one would have ever expected from Activision, making Call of Duty free. We cut now to live footage of Bobby Kotick's office.
Will you be donating that $1 million now, sir?
No, I'd still prefer not.
Call of Duty Warzone. Thank your personnel transport driver and drop onto the battlefield of COD Warzone, where you'll experience Call of Duty's endless quest to extract the last molecules of profit from the dried carcass that is the genre, with a free-to-play version that appeals to baseline COD heads in a no-frills battle royale experience that you've basically already had a million times before. But you'll keep coming back like a white dude at a McDonald's in Istanbul because it's familiar. Want to play a thinking man's game while not thinking anything at all? Call of Duty's got you covered. Learn to love getting shot in the face in the frenetic bullet hell that is Warzone, where the genre's usual safety buffer of multiple shields or slurp juice is mostly replaced with one-time use armor plates, which gives you maybe an extra half second to react to Call of Duty's traditional getting shot in the back, so you can scramble behind some cover and desperately try to slot some more armor while your shooter's friends find you and one taps you while you have your hands down your pants.
Yeah.
Then unceremoniously get sent to the gulag and fight to escape the extremely light penal system through one-on-one arena battles that probably feel more like the actual movie Battle Royale than anything in this entire genre. Then emerge triumphant and parachute back into the fray, only to land and get shot again immediately. Or if you're really unlucky, don't. And spend the rest of the game picking through scraps while hoping you don't get killed by guys with 3 legendary weapons. In a game that somehow was able to distill the salt you feel in a normal COD game and spread it across a much longer experience. Getting killed by a dude with an anime wife banner feels worse than being teabagged somehow. He doesn't even have to tell me that he f***ed mom. I know he's thinking it. Dive into the endless conflict of cold, drab, fictional Ukraine, where you'll mark one of the many samey-looking locations to rummage through like a dumpster diving freegan, but for guns. Then hope that your teammates will actually land there, so you have some chance of filling up on weapons, power-ups, and kill streaks, before you inevitably eat shot while using none of them, by collecting piles of hot cash, to spend at death kiosks like you're in some dystopian game show, or revive your partners when they're sent to the Shadow Realm, as money management becomes the difference from getting booted out early and having an annoying immortal army of constantly revived teammates, which is actually kind of how it works in real life too, I guess. You smell that? That's the smell of capitalism, baby. Once you've battled enough royales, go full robber baron in the plunder mode, where any semblance of strategy is left behind for a pure mad dash for cash, or pop into the limited time modes, like massive 50-on-50 fights, Assassin's Creed-style contract modes, or even wacky upgradable car battles, or basically anything that any other Battle Royale game has been doing recently, as Warzone shamelessly fights the industry tyrants for more of your eyeball time, so they can try to direct you to their oh-so-convenient battle pass, in the video game equivalent of handing out free crack samples at a schoolyard. And you know what they say about crack kids? It's tons of fun. So get your gulag grooving, and get ready to install those shaders for a Battle Royale experience created for even the lowest common denominator of gamer, that proves it's not complicated mechanics or a million item options that make this format work. It's having someone that hasn't stopped playing COD since 2004 carry you to victory. Look, a win's a win, and I got kids to feed.
2004.
Starring, spectating, punching people in the face in the gulag, throwing stones in the gulag, getting stones thrown at you in the gulag as your feelings get hurt a little bit, accidentally picking up a contract and then getting yelled at by teenagers, getting blown up with a bazooka, feeling like you vicariously won by watching the people who killed you win, and jumping through a crap ton of windows. It's really the most satisfying part of this game. Codpiece Legends. You know, I think the next most logical step is to take out the shooting entirely and bring this to the most brutal battlefield of all, the Excel spreadsheet. Tell us what you'd like to hear in my epic voice in the comments below.
Now, as Fortis are in the midst of a series of very compelling new releases, and I must stress for me it's the most important new release of 2020 so far, I thought I'd revisit this absolute gem from their pre-existing catalogue. They obviously have an extensive range of pilot watches, so I really wanted to look at something a little overlooked, and in my opinion, this is perhaps one of the best affordable Swiss Flieger-style watches. So I have to say a massive thank you to Watchbuys for lending this in. As you guys know, they are an authorized dealer for Fortis in the United States, and I believe for North America they have a whole host of other wonderful brands. I personally have bought from them. If you remember, I got my Zin 104, so I can personally attest to their professionalism. So there you go. Now, I'll do a quick wristwatch check. I am indeed wearing my own Fortis. This is a very rare Lemania 5100 based automatic version, and extremely rare, only 300 of these in the world. It is the pride of my collection to some degree. Before we get to know this lovely creature here, let's have a little look at the history. When it comes to discussing the history of a watch brand, few compare to Fortis. For a brand of this size, to say it punches above its weight would be an understatement. During my 2017 tour of Switzerland, I actually visited the factory in Gretchen, where Fortis were founded in 1912 by Walter Vogt. I got to see firsthand their extensive collection of historic watches that had actually been to space, and some of the world's first automatic watches ever manufactured. To say I fell in love with the brand and its rich heritage is undoubtedly a cliché, but there is no better expression to describe the magic effect of being in this historic place and seeing these watches firsthand. Immediately upon my return home after the trip, I hunted down my first Fortis, and I have been a die-hard fan ever since. But let's rewind a bit. Why is Fortis so important, and why are they one of, if not the most underrated Swiss watch brand in the world? 12 years after its establishment, Vogt set up production with the British horologist John Harwood. In 1926, Fortis released the patented Harwood Automatic, the first self-winding wristwatch in the world. Aside from pioneering the earliest automatics, Fortis then introduced some of the world's first waterproof watches with the aptly named Fortissimo models. Today, Fortis are mostly known for their long legacy of making watches worn in space, starting as far back as 1962 with the Spacematic Automatic. It was constructed to hold up in extreme conditions and temperature changes. The watch was tested by 7 members of a US space mission. In 1994, Fortis introduced strict endurance tests, and the same year, the Star City Training Center chose the Fortis official Cosmonaut chronograph as part of its issued equipment. Fortis automatic watches have proven their space compatibility inside and outside of the protection of the space station. Since 1994, Fortis has been the exclusive supplier of manned space missions, authorized by the Russian Federal Space Agency.
Dass einer der Kosmonauten tatsächlich mal an der ISS außen im Einsatz war, sein Werkzeug vergessen hat und eben die Uhr benutzt hat, um dementsprechend die Niete zu versenken oder den Bolzen hineinzuschlagen. Deswegen können wir mit Stolz sagen, dass wir weltraumerprobt sind. Die Uhr hat es schon bewiesen.
In 1997, the same watch, the Fortis official Cosmonaut chronograph, became the official watch of the German-Russian space mission Mir 97. The following year, Fortis would make history again by introducing the world's first automatic chronograph with an alarm in 1998. This innovative timepiece would give a physical vibration as well as an audible signal designed specifically to be worn in space during an EVA, so the astronaut could feel the alarm ringing, because in space, of course, there is no sound. During Fortis's 75th anniversary year in 2004, it introduced a new addition to their Flieger Automatic collection. These would go on to supply many military squadrons worldwide: the Swiss 11 fighters of Switzerland, the Jagdgeschwader of Germany, the Hellenic Tigers of Greece, the Immelmann 51 of Germany, NATO forces of Hungary, the Thunder Tiger acrobatic team of Taiwan, and the Papa Squadron of Hungary, just to name a few. Despite this astonishing legacy, Fortis experienced financial difficulties in 2017 and was rescued by a private investor who was most importantly a Fortis fan. This new ownership helped to maintain the brand's independence, and in 2020 we saw a return to form with the first in a series of highly anticipated and extremely exciting new Flieger watches. Lastly, let's just talk a little bit about the meaning of Fortis, and it's an interesting story. Aside from the obvious etymology from Latin, forte meaning strong, which happens to be the same in Italian, fortis comes from the maker's mark, often inscribed on the base of Roman oil lamps. They originated in northern Italy and were exported throughout the Mediterranean. The book I featured in this video, which I acquired during my visit to them in Switzerland, you can actually now download it for free as a PDF from their website. As always, let's start off with dimensions. We have a diameter of exactly 40 millimeters, an extremely slender 9.2 millimeters there. Lug to lug, we're looking at just a smidgen over 47, I would say 47.2 there, and a lug width of 20 millimeters. Absolutely outstanding size. Very contemporary, but not too oversized. Now, of course, due to this remarkable slenderness, it is extremely comfortable. It very much wears like a dress watch. It's supremely cuff-friendly. The whole entire case is stainless steel. We have sapphire, flat sapphire with anti-reflective coating. I believe on the inside it's entirely high polish. There are no brushed surfaces here whatsoever. And then on the back, I'm not quite sure if this is sapphire as well, but you do get a display back there to show off that lovely movement. Just zero the scales there and pop it on. Got a very comfortable, it's not quite on, there we go. Yeah, 66 grams, very nice and light. Superluminova on all the numerals with the classic Flieger A-type layout, harkening back to the early German World War II pilot watches, of course, that have been imitated throughout the watch world. So therefore we get that lovely iconic triangle and double dot marker at the 12. We get those quintessentially Flieger-style sword hands, of course. Now these are blacked out as well, and with this clear layout, obviously we get a really excellent orientation. I mean, there's no mistaking where 12 o'clock is. And at the 6 o'clock, to make way for that large sub-seconds, we have a little triangle, and then of course the date aperture immediately above that. The dial itself is a highly contrasted matte, slightly grained black there. The only pop of color on the entire watch.
Huge
that
fan.
lovely little, I would describe that as a kind of vivid cobalt blue for the seconds hand. So despite its more diminutive size, it really stands out, which I think is
I grew up in Barranquilla, Colombia, in a very traditional Catholic home. My father told me that if I ever did anything artistic, I was going to look like a hooker. I told him, with these huge boobs that I inherited from your mother, I already look like a hooker. I am Sophia, and I am an artist.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Olsen, and this is my Wired Auto Complete interview.
How's it going?
Okay. So, where is Elizabeth Olsen? God. From? That's a lot nicer than where is Elizabeth Olsen? Los Angeles. Where did Elizabeth Olsen go to college? NYU. And I graduated. 5.5 years. Why was Elizabeth Olsen in Edinburgh? Because I was filming Avengers there. Okay. When was Elizabeth Olsen born? February 16th, 1989. When did Elizabeth Olsen start acting? That's a bigger question, because I think my first professional job was when I was really young, but I didn't really start acting then, I don't think. I would say my sophomore year of college when I started understudying. How did Elizabeth Olsen Timothy Chalamet meet? I just bought a Chalamet and Netflix t-shirt because I'm a big fan of his, and I don't know him. I took a picture with him at the Indie Spirit Awards. He's a little dream of a human. How tall is Elizabeth Olsen in foot? How tall is Elizabeth Olsen in foot? I know what they were trying to say, but how tall is Elizabeth Olsen in feet? I am 5 feet, and I don't really know how many inches. Some people say 5, some people say 6, but I think 6 is generous. How many siblings does Elizabeth Olsen have? Technically, I have 3 full siblings and 2 half siblings, but they're all siblings. You know, they're all like wholehearted, my blood siblings. How old Elizabeth Olsen? I am 29. That's how old I am. How is Elizabeth Olsen? I'm great. Thanks for asking Google. Is Elizabeth Olsen Scarlet Witch? That's more of a meta question, I guess. Is Elizabeth Olsen in Avengers 4? Is Elizabeth Olsen left-handed? No, but thank you for thinking I'm one of those gifted, more creative people. Is Elizabeth Olsen Swedish? No, but again, thank you. Again, is Elizabeth Olsen age? I do age. In fact, I can move all of the muscles in my face. Does Elizabeth Olsen dance? Yes. Does Elizabeth Olsen have a twin? Niet. Does Elizabeth Olsen have an accent? I guess it depends on where you're from. I think we all have accents. I think that's what happens when people live in different parts of the world. We all sound different. Isn't that lovely? Does Elizabeth Olsen have Twitter? Nope. Does Elizabeth Olsen sing in I Saw the Light? I do. It's my beautiful, shrill voice you get to hear in that movie. But yeah, well, I'm definitely not going to sing for you. What blank superhero is Elizabeth Olsen? Scarlet Witch, but I just figured out we never say Scarlet Witch, I don't think, in the franchise. So I guess I'm Wanda. What happened to Elizabeth Olsen's accent? I'll never tell. What does Elizabeth Olsen play in Harmon Quest? Can't remember, but that was fun. That's a fun game, but I'm amazed that that's even on this list. Like, how many people actually watch Harmon Quest? What college did Elizabeth Olsen go to? I think I answered this, NYU. But I'm glad people are asking in multiple different forms. What does Elizabeth Olsen do? What do I do? I cook, I work, I don't make people laugh for a living. This has been my Wired autocomplete interview. Thank you for watching.
Hello, I'm Ryan Reynolds.
And I'm Jake Gyllenhaal, and we're doing a Wired
autocomplete
interview.
Yes. Google your own name. Everyone has at some point in their lives, and you're like, oh God! I was feeling so good about myself a second ago.
Is Ryan Reynolds
Debbie Reynolds' son? Wow, that would be incredible. The stories I would have, too, the war stories.
Is Ryan Reynolds
related to Ryan Gosling?
Okay, let's play some games. So bro, I'm so bad at this game. Oh. Fucking that stupid, fucking called Valorant. Do do do. Apps. Right and card. Stupid buggy.
No, I'm telling you, that's not how to do things. Just talk to him. Oh, damn it. We're all down. Oh, man. That was good game, though. Daryl right in front.
Domo.